This is another Talkin Live Show, and it's all about the President of Canada, Trudeau. All right, we're talking about the President of Canada, Trudeau. He has done the same thing to Canada that Joe Biden has done to America. According to a friend of mine in Canada that called me and talked to me about it this morning, we talked about it for about 20, 30 minutes, how that he was messing up the economy up in Canada. I asked him, I said, do you think this will happen with Trump, that we would bring Canada in as a 51st state? And he said he don't think that's going to happen. But he said, who knows? So basically that's the way it is with everything now. Who knows what's going to happen anymore? So actually, we got some clips. They sent me some clips on Canada, what he's doing, Trudeau is doing to Canada and to his people, and really hurting the residents of Canada. And we're going to play just a little of that, and then we'll do a little quote on that.
I vote for the motion.
Mr. Trudeau, for.
There seems to be an overabundance of wacko events in Canada these days, but who's behind them?
Does capitalist democracy still work? That's the question being posed around kitchen tables.
But what exactly is a wacko? Is there an accepted general definition? According to vocabulary.com, a wacko is a person who is eccentric or mad. Merriam-Webster equates wacko with psycho. Dictionary.com says a wacko is a strange or odd person. There's probably nothing to fear from most wackos. They often serve as an odd form of entertainment. But what happens if they get into positions of power? What happens if they run a government?
It's funny.
But is the Liberal government of Canada really comprised of wackos? Let's start with their leader, Justin Trudeau. He invented a new economic doctrine, wackonomics. The first rule of wackonomics: no math allowed.
The economy is not numbers. The economy is people.
Rent is a number. Gas, food, and home prices are numbers. Before wackonomics, humanity was stuck with old-fashioned equation. Numbers equals prices equals what people pay. Pythagoras said, numbers rule the universe, but not to worry. Wackonomics overturns the numbers.
I have an inability to handle small numbers and little calculations.
You'll forgive me if I don't think about monetary policy.
We're focused on Canadians. I'll let the bankers worry about the economy.
But if you use your credit card to go back to school, or if you use your credit card, you go into debt to build an expansion on your house, that is how you grow a strong economy.
And if you don't like the high taxes and inflation, you just need to get with the vibes.
A lot of economists have been talking about the vibe session.
And maybe don't forget to say a little prayer.
What do you make of that, Krista?
Well, I would say amen to raising taxes.
If that doesn't work, here's Freeland's financial advice to pay your bills.
Canadian families are looking really closely at all of their expenses. Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription.
And the budget will balance itself.
Then there is the vocabulary.
Maternal love is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to...
We like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind.
Trudeau even reinvented the future of quantum mechanics with his own cerebral thoughts.
We have to rethink elements as basic as space and time.
In this wacko world, attempting to ban things has become second nature. Here are a few things wackos want to ban: gas-powered cars, plastic straws, and hunting rifles.
There are some guns
yes, that we're going to have to take away from people who were using them to hunt.
The good news is, wackos like Trudeau have no problem legalizing hard drugs. They will even make the taxpayer buy opioids for you.
We've also ensured a better supply of artificial opiates.
But remember, people, if you're going to snort hard drugs, do it in a sustainable way without a plastic straw. So how do these wackos look at the rest of the world? What do they really admire?
There's a level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship.
In exchange for his admiration, Beijing's dictatorship gave Trudeau an endearing nickname.
We're quite proud the Prime Minister has been given a fond nickname in China. He is called Trudeau, which I believe means potato, and he is, I can't say the Chinese word, it's Xiang Trudeau, little potato, because his father, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, was senior potato.
Back at home, it takes a team to make a wacko world. Trudeau's closest ally, Chrystia Freeland, knows the struggle of commoners who drive to work every day.
A fact that still shocks my dad is I don't actually own a car, because I live in downtown Toronto. I'm like, I don't know, 300 meters from the nearest subway. I walk, I take the subway.
While driving around in rural Alberta last week, Chrystia Freeland was pulled over for speeding.
What shocks my dad is I don't actually own a car, because I live in downtown Toronto.
Then there's Carolyn Bennett, Trudeau's former health minister, who was the leading architect of creating government-funded opioid programs for addicts. This is the person Trudeau had running our healthcare program.
So just stop it and save lives!
Now the job goes to this wacko, Mark Holland. It's not unusual for him to get pissed off and go on wacko tirades.
I have spent my entire life, as you have, fighting for the good in this world. And for you to accuse a good person of not caring about human life, shame on you.
But good thing he knows how to let out all that energy.
I was the first health minister, probably the first member of parliament, who talked about the importance of pleasure in sex. What does it mean if sex isn't affirming of who you are and isn't pleasurable, if you don't have that as a family value?
This is a man who really knows how to communicate with people.
The fact that we can't talk about our elbows and knees the same way we talk about our penises and vaginas is terrible.
Still, with all the love and sex and body parts, there are built up terrible memories of road trips.
You can take it a summer fun time vacation where you're locked in a car for 10 consecutive days, non-stop with no bathroom breaks, and the Conservatives have a plan for you to have that summertime fun. And the cost? Give up the future of the planet, right? Don't worry, kids, about climate change. Don't worry about taking action on the planet. Enjoy your 10 hours in the car and let the planet burn.
And guess who flew to Paris this summer to see the Olympics?
You know, I had an opportunity for my mom's 80th birthday to be away and be in the Olympics.
Speaking of environmental hypocrisy, Trudeau's former Minister of Climate Change, Catherine McKenna, mastered the art of deceptive politics.
Some real advice. I said that if you actually say it louder, we've learned in the House of Commons, if you repeat it, if you say it louder, if that is your talking point, people will totally believe it. People will totally believe it.
This wacko even said that being opposed to Trudeau's carbon tax makes you an arsonist. When she left, a new wacko replaced her. The current Minister of Climate Change, Stephen Guilbeault, has always been a lifelong Liberal.
Greenpeace is climbing the world's tallest building today to tell the world not to be fooled by the Liberal government.
Wait, no, I mean socialist.
I'm a Liberal and a proud socialist, Mr. Speaker.
Stephen Guilbeault spent part of his adult life as a radical environmental activist known for engaging in high-profile stunts that led to multiple arrests. By his early 30s, Guilbeault had climbed the CN Tower to protest against Liberal environmental policies and scaled the roof of the Premier of Alberta's residence. Today, he remains an avid eco-maniac.
As you know in life, the only two guarantees are taxes and death.
Who has promised to end all road building in Canada. Safe to say, this wacko has earned his boss's respect.
I have tremendous faith and confidence in my Environment Minister.
Next, we have Seamus O'Regan. He's one of Trudeau's closest confidants.
I wouldn't be doing this unless I felt I could do something.
When Canadians were worried about paying higher taxes for home heating during winter, he had this to say:
I am sick and tired of people talking about the cold winter and what we're doing.
Trudeau Liberals are also sick and tired of free speech. Trudeau's Justice Minister Arif Virani introduced censorship, Bill C-63. If it becomes law, they will arrest you for future crimes.
You're so sensitive.
Even famous Liberal author Margaret Atwood called Trudeau's censorship laws creeping totalitarianism. Arresting someone for saying the wrong thing, that is wacko. Arresting them for something they have not yet even said, that is wacko on steroids. Have dinner plans. With food prices up 37% faster in Canada than in the US, and the quadrupling carbon tax set to raise them higher, wackos have ordered up a meal for you. Crickets. Trudeau gave $9 million of your tax dollars to a company that is building the world's largest edible cricket factory. The company is now firing workers and losing your money. As to where your tax dollars went, well, crickets. How do all these wackos end up in one government?
And a Liberal member of Parliament was caught without clothes during the virtual House of Commons.
They share a common need for validation from their leader, Justin Trudeau, the so-called patriarch of wackos. It's a classic case of birds of a feather flock together. As an adult, Trudeau dressed in blackface so many times he lost count. At 29, while he was a teacher and yearbook instructor, Trudeau made sure his blackface photos were included in the school yearbook. These actions suggest a lack of awareness or concern for incompetence that is a trait seemingly reflected in his leadership and the decisions of all the wackos around him. With these people in power, anything is possible. And so the saga continues, with a wacko government that mirrors the eccentricities of its leader as Trudeau attempts to hold on to power. The most outrageous moment for these wackos may still be on the horizon.
Great leader up in Canada. Wow. I thought Biden was a nut, but he's the top of the line. Trudeau. The man that's got the plan to destroy the people of Canada. Never in my life. Now, I keep getting texts from my contact in Canada telling me he effed up the country, and oh man, they're really, people up in Canada's really all bent out of shape about him. They'd be glad to be a part of the United States. But I mean, if someone like Biden was in, he wouldn't be no better off, would he? But let's get off of Biden. Let's talk about Trudeau. We are lucky not to have someone like him. See, he's just a young guy that thinks he's beautiful, and he likes to have power, and he thinks he's what do they call it, top of the walk or walk of the talk. Or I mean, this guy, man, he's no leader. He's just a young idiot. I'm trying to find a word to say what he really is, because he is tormenting the people in Canada just like, and causing a lot of problems. Wants to take away their guns. You remember when they had that truck and embargo, the trucking companies would stop moving and all that. He went and took out their bank, got a hold of their bank accounts, draw their money out. You know, that's really a good leader right there. Reminds me of some place called China, and maybe North Korea. I mean, what kind of president is somebody? You see him dancing around. He's all happy about himself. He's all wrapped up in all the things that he is. He ain't worried about the people around him, the one he's there to look out for. It'd be great if Canada come in, been a part of America. It might be a great idea. New Zealand, I don't know about. I hadn't done much on that. Our shows are going to start being down to the T of what's going on. I'm contacting a lot of my people in different countries, and I keep their name quiet. Nobody's going to know who they are. from Israel, Canada, wherever they are, you'll never know who they are. I'm just going to take in all the information and then I'm going to show it to the people that are watching my show. That's what we need to do. And, I like that fact that someone told me to put on a suit and start to do shows like a professional and not kid around, not do things. But see, my purpose is a free network. Free network to let the world know who is sorry and don't care about the their country's people. I mean, like we got a lot in Congress and Senate and White House that don't care about American people. Now, as far as the car that blew up in Vegas, I think that was planned and plotted to do that to look bad on Elon Musk. Because the battery usually would not explode and do that much damage. I mean, they can explode. I'm not a scholar or a scientist to build a battery, but I know what those batteries will do in situations with water and, and overcharge, but not what this was done. And I think it's a bad thing, and I think that it might have been a terrorist act too, which they're saying it is, which I believe it is. And also, of course, we're in New Orleans, down on Bourbon Street. I've been down there on Mardi Gras years ago. I mean, there's so many people on the streets, it ain't hard to drive and run over a bunch of people because, the streets are full on Mardi Gras, and I've been down there, and I know how dangerous it is on Bourbon Street in Louisiana. Like I said, I've been down there at the Mardi Gras. I've seen things that now those horses they got down there, man, they're the biggest tall. They about have to have a ladder to get on them. They're tall, big horses. But we're talking about Trudeau and how he's doing the Canadian people and treating them and wanting to bring communism in and have all this stuff. Now, I have tons of information coming in on my phone, and I told my friend up there in Canada to send it to me. He sent me all kinds of stuff. I can't get into all of it, but there are possibility we can do another show on Canada and show all these clips that we have. I intend to do that with every country. I can get a partner, South Korea, North Korea. It don't make no difference to me. And so if you want to partner up and talk about your country, how that your country has been took care of, in other words, your leaders, your politicians, you're welcome. I mean, we will put it on here. I don't think it's against the law to tell the truth, is it? Well, it's been against the law here lately in the media, but we want everybody to be aware of what's going on in this world. It seems to be the same thing in every country here lately, how the power grab is getting so, people are getting so aggressive to take power and not caring who they hurt. Like this in Canada, we see what he was doing, and see, like I said, he's no leader. He's not old enough to be a leader of a country. And his ideas and his administration has the bad ideas from Canada. They're not doing what they should with the people of Canada. They're looking for ways to paralyze their country, destroy their country. I don't understand why any leader would want to destroy their economy and their country other than they want to get in situations where they might sell their country out to a communist country, or, China's taken over a lot of countries with their money, and they're paying the politicians off. And this is probably what's going on. Not sure of it, but we're not saying we don't feel that way. We feel that way because you take China, they're down in South America, they're taking over, they're talking to the governments, like in these different South American countries, and they're placing satellites and all the different things on these programs, and just trying to take over the shipping, trying to take over everything to be able to get a hold on America, get a hold on other countries, so they'll have to bow down to them. I just seen where Elon Musk is going to Africa and tying as his Starlink information. Also, I've seen where he is going to be offering telephone service. Now, see, when he sent them satellites up, he sent them with the ability to do a lot of things that you don't even think. It's not all about the internet. The man's smart. He don't miss nothing much. His knowledge of doing things is planned ahead. As I done a show on TikTok, I think Elon Musk is a man of technology that we've seen in movies that are coming out. I think that is that man's thoughts. And I'm hoping that it'll all be used for the good of the people. Same thing in Canada. He will probably try to get hooked up in Canada. I don't know. But I do know that Canada is a kind of a place that's going to be restricted if the leader there don't get it in a situation where people can have the say so. After watching this film, though, I feel like his determination is not to help Canadian people, but to destroy their way of life, not give them no hope, take away their vision, and take away their guns, take away their money, starve them to death on tariffs. I think that Donald Trump has said to Trudeau, look, we're going to have to charge you the extra tariffs if you don't put a stop to terrorism coming into our country, people that's not invited coming in our country. And I think if he really cares about his country, he'll work with Donald Trump on this. This show today, I was talking to my friend in Canada, and it just come up to do the show. Wasn't really prepared to do it, but what I know and what he sent to me. And the next show we do on Canada will be a better show, and we'll bring up some things that's going on in Canada. You see a lot of these people in his administration, what their vision is for Canadians, like take away all the rights, become a communist country, do away with anything to do with freedom, take away their freedom, take away their will to live. That's what they do when they start doing this, and that's why Joe Biden lost the election. Kamala, same thing. Both of them was the same. I can't think of anything that comes to mind that I would change to Joe Biden. So she was kind of like clone of Joe Biden. So that's what I might. But we don't need that kind of people in our country. Canada don't need that kind of people in their country. They need a people, administration, just like America, that will look out for the needs and everything that the people want. Not drugs now. I didn't get on the drugs now. But as I was watching about drugs, they want people to be doped up so they can't know what's going on in the government. That's basically what drugs do. I mean, you see Walter Peterson, you know, his show that comes on, This Is My World and all that. And he puts some people on the street to talk to people. And they, you know, they act like they don't even know nothing about what's going on in the country. I mean, the younger people, they don't keep up with stuff. They don't know what's going on. And that's why our government will be lost if you younger people don't keep up with it. Look around you. You people in Canada, look around you and see if you want to be actually locked up in prison. A country you can't say nothing, you can't speak your mind, you are locked up and you cannot ever get out and tell the world the way you feel with administrations like Trudeau, Biden, Kim Jong-un, whatever his name is, and, you know, these different countries that practice communism, no free speech. But we will do more on Canada, and I checked a lot of my stuff on my Facebook, and I checked a lot on my different categories of countries, cities that listen to our show. We got 18% in Russia. If you feel like you want to talk about what's going on in Russia, if you're in Ukraine, we're out in Ukraine. People watching us in Ukraine. They're watching us all over the world. And we want to know about your country. We want to know what's going on. We don't, let nobody know who you are. And we won't. If you feel like you want to get in touch with us, even if you want to do a show, we'll do a show and we'll cover your face. You will not have your picture, nothing, even if you want your voice changed.
The views and opinions expressed on all Talkin Live presentations are those of the host and their guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of the Talkin Live TV broadcast studio, or by this channel or its management.